Hey everybody, this is a very silly book called Sppokley the Square Pumpkin. Wait, Square Pumpkin? That doesn't sound right. Yeah, are pumpkins usually square? No. The Legend of Sppokley the Square Pumpkin. Right off the bat, it's sounding silly. Hmm. One day in the pumpkin patch, the strangest little pumpkin hatched. Sppokley wasn't like his friends, where they had curves. He had ends. Sppokley was different. He was odd. He was rare. Sppokley the pumpkin wasn't round. He was square. While the round pumpkins had fun rolling along, poor Sppokley sat there shaped all wrong. He tried and tried with all his might, but he couldn't budge. He just sat tight. The other pumpkins teased him because he was square. Pump Sppokley wished he was round and could roll everywhere. That is, until one night, when they all discovered it's fine to be round when the weather is fair, but there are times it's better to be a square. Halloween was just a day away when a mighty storm blew across the bay. It tossed the round pumpkins to and fro. It snapped their vines, then off they'd go, bouncing left, slamming right, banging, bashing. What a sight! Sppokley sat there, filled with fright, but glad to be square that night. Suddenly, the fence gave way. Three pumpkins rolled out into the bay. Uh-oh, we're in trouble. Sppokley knew what must be done. It was up to him. He was the one. He teetered, he tottered, he tipped, he tried, and finally flipped. He was on his side. Again he tipped, again he flipped, again he flipped, and then he stopped, right in the gap where the fence had snapped. He blocked the way. The hole was capped. All the pumpkins shouted, "Hooray! Sppokley the square pumpkin has saved the day." Then a pumpkin hit him with a whack. He thought his shell would start to crack. Then another one hit him with a thump, and another one with a smack. Huh, I guess they're not picking on the square guy anymore, huh? Yeah, it's always like that. At dawn, when the storm had stopped, the farmer came out and checked his crop. He picked his pumpkins up one by one and laid them out in the warm, dry sun. And when the last was moved away, the farmer could see what had saved the day. An odd, an odd-shaped pumpkin, short and dense, was wedged against the broken fence. Its shell was bruised, its stem was too, but there was brave little Sppokley sitting straight and strong and true. Right then and there, the farmer knew of all the seeds he'd ever sown, Sppokley's were the most special that he had ever grown. Whoa. Some, and the next year, when it was time to sow, he sowed those seeds in every row. He watered and weeded and watched them grow, and oh, that morning, about mid-June, when the pumpkin patch began to bloom, there were tiny pumpkins everywhere, hundreds and hundreds, most of them square, but some were cubes and some were rectangular, some were flat and others triangular. There was a bed of bright red ones and two rows of blue. There were polka dot pumpkins and rainbow ones too. There were diamonds of color and hundreds of shapes. There, oh, what a garden variety makes. Now you know the story of how Sppokley grew. Maybe someday, if you tell someone to, they'll go tell someone who'll tell another. And maybe one day we'll all discover you can't judge a book or a pumpkin by its cover. So, turned out being a square wasn't such a bad thing after all. And now a little math news for you. Sppokley was not a square. He was a cube. A square is flat and a cube is three-dimensional like a die. So I don't know why they were calling him Sppokley the square pumpkin. He should have been called Sppokley the cube pumpkin, right? Come on, people. Let's get our math facts straight.